So welcome everyone to the second episode of The Last Acre. We're here just outside of not the Heathfield area, and we're joined by the second episode guest, which is Anton. How's things, Anton? How's it all going?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Yeah, we getting into spring now, so animals are out. Finally got the cattle out. Forage lasted, which was surprising after the summer last year.
Yes, yeah.
But we've got a bit left, so that's really good. And just finishing off the lambing. Got a few in the shed here that were triplets that we've been topping up. So yeah, not too bad at all at the moment, thanks.
They're lovely, aren't they? They're beautiful.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about initially, just start by going back and talking about your history in farming. So, what's your earliest memory of farming?
Probably my uncle and auntie's farm. When we were really young, I've got cousins similar age, and my dad wasn't in farming, but my auntie married a farmer. So we sort of went down there as a young age. It's a small dairy farm. We used to milk about 50 or 60 Jersey Guernseys, little bolt tank, little 6 milking parlour. And I just loved it from there. But my great grandfather was a dairy farmer, and then my nan did it until she had children. And then went to my auntie, and then I sort of just loved it. But my dad always said it's in the blood.
Oh, really?
It's in the blood, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. So you went to work on a farm, I'm guessing, straight out of school, would it have been? And then you went straight into...
Yeah, so I got a job actually on an arable farm at 13, but only in the summer at school holidays.
Cool.
Being grain cart.
Oh, right.
So yeah, and it was very old fashioned, all up augers, backing up to a trough.
Love that.
And tipping up into augers, and that was my my job 13, 14. And then 15, I think I did it when I was 15 as well, and then of course I left school.
So I'm guessing obviously you left school, went straight into farming.
I did, yeah. At 16 I got a job, like an apprenticeship for a year while I was at college. Went to Plumpton on a dairy farm, and that was good for a year. Done the level 2, and then went back for level 3, but then got a job with the arable farm that I used to work on when I was 13, 14.
I see. Okay.
They had me back full time, which was good really, because I grew up on a dairy farm. We had some beef, we had a couple of pigs sometimes to fatten, for Christmas. So to get back involved with arable was really sort of a different string to the bow.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really, really helpful. So I was there for a couple of years. And then my nan actually had a really bad leg, who had a district nurse come in.
Mm-hmm.
And the district nurse was talking about her husband's farm. Yes. And they was looking for somebody to help run it. So got contact with me, and I went to a farm in Helsham.
Right. Okay.
And I was there right up until my mid-20s. But that was great because that was sheep, beef, and arable. So it's perfect because I'd learned the full range of things.
Wow.
It was it was really good to just settle into somewhere. So I was there for quite some time, really. So yeah, farming's a passion.
Mm-hmm.
Just unfortunately, when I got into my sort of mid to late 20s, started looking at the bank and
yeah, of course, yeah, I suppose
things, and wanted to start a family, and unfortunately, had to come out of it for a little while to start a family. I went into the building,
right? Okay,
but only sort of driving machinery and things like that to start with. I got more involved as time went on, and we built some good stuff in the end. But it was good. It was good. It was hard to leave farming, because all the time from growing up and then working on farms, it never felt like a job.
No,
you turn up and you do what you're going to do. You go home when it's finished.
Yeah.
And when I went and started on the building, it was like, oh, here's some more money, but you have to finish at 4:30. 4:30's halfway through the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was a bit...
It's to a farmer, yeah.
A bit strange. But we did that for a while, and then, an opportunity come along to start again.
Excellent. I was going to say, also you left construction because we're here today. It's obviously something spurred on. Was it an easy decision to come back to where you are now, or did you have to really think and look at the sums? If you don't mind me asking, how many children have you got?
So I've got 4 children.
Have you? Okay, so you were busy then in that time.
I was busy, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Was it a hard decision? It was a very easy decision to leave the building because the building's just cutthroat. You know, someone's underpricing you, or you're underpriced them, or it was so. And it wasn't me. I had no. Although I'm not, being big-headed, I was quite good at it.
Yes,
it wasn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't what I grew up doing or what I wanted to do. I remember being at secondary school saying to my teachers, "Don't need to pay attention with what you're trying to say because I'm going into farming." So
love that.
So got the opportunity to get out of building and come back here, and it was quite an easy decision, really.
Oh, really?
Financially around the same because I'm a manager, so I obviously got better money than I did when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So the money wasn't really an issue. So that was the main reason, really. Me and my wife talked about it, and it was worth the move.
Yeah.
So here we are.
And is your wife also from an agricultural background, or have you sort of dragged the wrong word, but have you brought her into it?
I've dragged her into it, yeah. So, so my second wife, I started again, and she comes from criminal law.
Really?
So she had absolutely no experience in farming or the hours that we do or anything. She was completely green to it. So
okay.
We met when I was still on the building, but we weren't together long before I came here. So yeah, but she's been great. Really, it's hard for somebody that's had no agricultural background to come in, but these triplets that we've got hanging around here, she's looked after them while I've been away. So it's all good.
Stuff. Yeah, lovely. And obviously, where we are at the moment in terms of farming in the UK, I think it's fair to say we're in a bit of a tricky situation where we are. Where do you feel that it's gone wrong?
Well, this is going to be very opinionated, isn't it?
Yes,
so personally, I think that if we left Europe, Brexit, and I think that whether you voted for or against, I think that we were sold a dream that the payments would stop from Europe, but there would be replacements here. But I think that was blindsided. And gaslighting, and I think that that's where it started to go wrong. The old government, setting up a few trade deals with different places and things like that, makes it a little bit harder still. And also, they didn't put anything in place. I think now we're governed to not farm, which is being picked up by the present government, and they've run with the ball, so they've made it a lot worse. I mean, you can pick a subject from the inheritance tax.
Yeah, you can do. Yes.
That's the worst thing that they did. They tried to U-turn a little bit on that, and it's not working. A lot of farms are worth more money than that. But it's that trade deals on imports, cheap imports, supermarkets. Supermarkets are profiteering. It is really, really difficult. The green lobby wants a solar farm pasture, but yet they want to build more houses.
Yeah.
Why don't they put solar panels on the houses?
Yeah, that's very true.
Car parks.
Well, no secret. We obviously very fortunate to go away on holiday, and so one place where we go to, you've got like a little supermarket there, and it's all because it's so hot. You've got above canopy, our cars under. It's all got solar panels on top.
Yeah.
I don't know why we can't adopt something like that.
No, I don't. I mean, we were, around 60% efficient here with growing our own stuff and things like that. And, they want to take it down to a third. And I just don't understand how we've got to have food security. We've got to have military security. We've got to be able to defend ourselves. But that goes hand in hand with food security. Food security in the UK is really important because although this current situation that's going on is not necessarily affecting meat, but it is affecting us to be able to grow things. And, fertilizer. I've got no fertilizer at the minute. Keep promising it, but it's not arrived. So we need to be able to grow grass. And we stopped producing fertilizer in the UK in 2023. It's madness. It's madness. We need to be able to feed a nation in a crisis.
We do. Yes, I totally agree. I totally agree. And also, when people are buying diesel's another big thing. White and red diesel. And speaking to a lot of farmers, they're having to sort of order their diesel and then pay the price when it turns up, which could be completely different price altogether.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can do that. Why did all these grants we're releasing? Someone said to me, why didn't they stop the grants and just subsidise the fuel? Then the fuel, that was the price, and everyone could carry on. When you speak to people, contractors and that sort of thing, one chap said to me, it's going to cost him 20 grand to do the same work.
Yeah, of course. And I use contractors. I do a lot of it myself with my colleagues, but we do use a local contractor for haylage because I haven't got the kit big enough for that. And speaking to him, it's sort of like, well, the price of the price of diesel, I'm going to have to come in. Everything's going to have a bit of a knock-on effect. We're going to have to pass on this diesel expense. At some point.
Yeah. But it's not his fault, is it? Either.
No, it's not. No, it's not. But equally, the government are going on about the fuel, and is it as easy as they shouldn't be? They should have some tax relief for a little while. I know there's been mention in the Farmers Weekly about maybe helping farmers out with it, but there's been nothing yet. We're 3 or 4 weeks in.
We are.
And we're buying it. I think someone told me they'd bought red diesel for £1.07p, I think. So it has come down a little bit.
That is better, isn't it?
Yeah, it was going up to sort of 130, I think.
With white, I've seen it at 199.
Yeah, white diesel. I mean, obviously it doesn't affect us in the farming industry, but the industry that I was in for a while, construction.
Yes.
And they want all this construction. Well, everything runs on white now.
That's it. It does. You're on the road. You've got to be on white.
Really. Yeah, and food transport.
Yeah, very true.
So it is having a massive knock-on effect, but we have got the ability in the UK to do more. We just need to be financed better and stop all this green. It's, to be honest, it's bollocks.
It is. Yeah.
You cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah.
Because we can't get everyone else to grow our food in the world and then hold our hands up and say we're carbon neutral. Of course we're not. Just giving it to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not actually moving the problem, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cool, so we're now off the chairs and we're in this lovely barn here. We've got a job going on, as you can see. Anton, tell us what it is you're doing and then what's going to happen once you've done this job.
Well, now there's a story. So this is my calf barn. This is where we have the calves in the winter. Just in the middle of clearing it out. A bit of a tricky barn to dig everything out the corners by hand. But anyway, keeps fit. So we sort of house the young stock over here, so I can keep an eye on them. The main herder over the other side of the estate.
Yes.
Mucking it out, ready to put on where we put all the whole crops, and then when it's finished, this actually transforms into something completely different.
Right. Okay. So I mean I know what that is, but the people watching this don't.
Right. So I'm of a certain age.
Yeah.
And I have been a BMXer, and I'm still a BMXer at my age.
Brilliant.
And, so this barn, actually, I've built loads and loads of ramps.
Awesome.
And we transformed this into a BMX barn.
I love
for
that.
the summer.
But tell you what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking. I'm being silly here, but in terms of height,
Yeah.
You've got to be a little bit careful or not. You got.
I saw a friend of mine come over from California to ride last year, and he hit that lamp.
Oh no, is he all right?
Oh yeah, no, because they just moved. But yeah, so I guess the height that we get up to is probably the top of those boards.
Awesome.
So that's 8 foot plus another 18 inches. So you're getting up there in height.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice and flat.
It is, yeah. This used to be, this part of the farm used to be just for horses. So this was just stable blocks. So for some reason, they had all polished floors.
Right.
Which is great for me because it's easy to muck out.
Yeah.
Easy to disinfect, wash out. And then also it's really easy to ride bikes on. So it's all good fun, really. So I've literally just started this because, as I said, our cows have gone out.
Yes.
So yeah, just I've got 2 big barns to muck out, and then
be away.
We'll be away.
That's it.
Yeah.
So to do all of the different jobs and things you do here, obviously you need machinery. And what are you into machinery wise?
Old school.
Right.
Old school, apart from our drills on a combi drill.
Yeah.
So everything else is conventional baler.
Yeah.
Tedder.
Yeah.
We've got 2 tedders, obviously.
Yeah.
We always have one in the shed because one's always broken.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Do our own fertilizer spreading. We get a contractor in for spraying. Just easier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so pretty old school. I think it's from my roots. I do like a small barrel.
Oh really?
Yeah. So we have all our haylage made in big bales to be convenient for the cattle. But it's easier sometimes handling, and often I can get somebody else to chuck a few bales in.
Yeah, very true.
Don't need to drive a tractor.
No.
Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah.
I'm getting that age now where I'm trying to have a bit of modern machinery, but I do also like. I think the kids drive. I drive them mad. Come on, we're going to pick up idiot blocks, but we only make a few thousand hay bales small a year, and the straw, and then as I say, we do big bale haylage just to take the sting out of it.
Yeah. And running old school kit, how does that? Would you say that works well? Would you say there's like breakdowns and things, or would you say 9 times out of 10 you can get in it and go?
Yeah, I think it is really about maintenance. I mean, certainly when I was working on an arable farm when I was a teenager, it was grease up. And I know a lot of people now who just hitch the machine up and they drive off.
Yeah.
But with old school stuff, you pump it full of grease, make sure the gearboxes are full of oil. Yes, of course, you do still have breakdowns. I run a fairly old tractor. It does sometimes have its problems, but generally, I think it's maintenance with old stuff. But some of it's more reliable. Our little square baler is early 80s.
Right.
God knows how many bales it's bailed in its life. I mean, you can see by the chamber, the walls, that they're thin.
Yeah.
But I have it serviced once a year and replace any parts that are worn on it, and off we go. As I say, we only make a few thousand a year out of it, but it's great. It is hard work, but that's why I had so many children.
Yeah. I see. So they will go on to your children. Have they followed in your footsteps, or have they gone to go and do IT in London or something, or are they into farming?
Yeah, no, I think so. My son remembers when I was in the building. My oldest son.
Right. Okay.
My daughter not so much, and then my younger two are too young at school. But yeah, so my oldest son decided that he'd quite like to go into farming, and he did his first year apprenticeship in the same place I did.
Really?
Same farm, but for the grandson.
Excellent.
Which is, really, really
very wholesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and they took him on for a year, and he done a year exactly the same as me while he went to college.
Wow.
And then he left there, and then worked on another dairy farm, and then he left there, and now he runs a mixed farm with a family, not too far away.
Oh, right.
And he loves it. He's more into his machinery.
Okay,
Which
right.
I think stems a little bit from the building.
Yeah, okay.
With diggers and dumpers.
Yeah, very cool.
Still works with the animals, but I think he likes his tractors, really.
Yeah.
And my daughter is massively into her sheep.
Really?
Yep. She's been at Plumpton College. She's been with me doing the sheep since she was 12, and she's done Plumpton College. And this is the first year she's had the responsibility of contract lambing for somebody else.
Wow.
So I'm quite proud.
I was going to say, you must be very proud of
that. Proud father, yeah, because, it's a really difficult industry to get into, obviously. And I have warned them that it is fragile at the moment, but, they've both grabbed it and run with it. So I couldn't be more pleased, really, and to be able to go out and work for other people, and it's great, yeah.
Yeah, that says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously worked very hard at Plumpton and things, and
yeah.
Would you say she has a good experience at Plumpton? It's a good college.
We
do hear, it's safe to say, we do hear mixed things without going on at a particular college.
Yeah.
We do hear things in the industry about how the machinery side of things could be slightly improved.
Yeah, that's what I
give you a loaded question, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not aiming this just at
no.
I think college in general. I think now health and safety comes into play so much.
Yes.
That they actually can't do what I did at college. When I did, level 3 at Plumpton, you were going to learn how to spray a field. You were going to put fertiliser, you were going to muck a shed out, you were going to go baling. Well, we even had a combine when I was at Plumpton, to learn on. And I already knew how to drive a combine by that time. I mean, the arable farm that I worked at, 13, 14, 15, and they let me drive combines, have a go. So I think that's the main reason. The trouble is, I think that it's got so nanny state now that when you're trying to learn an industry like farming that is all a gamble, that we know you can't do that because that might happen, and risk assessment and method statement. I mean, everyone has to be safe in farming because obviously it's a dangerous,
of course,
job to be in. But if you're trying to teach children, but you're like, you can't quite do that because of this, or you can't quite do that because of that, I think it's holding them back. So they come out with these qualifications and they don't really know the job.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's book smart versus practicality.
Yeah, we hear just general feedback around, certainly from a technician training side of things. When you come out of any college, you would hope that person is ready day one to put on a pair of overalls, whatever colour they've chosen to go and do, and diagnose a machine. But we tend to find that diagnosis side hasn't really, and I mean, I could be totally incorrect here, but that diagnostic maybe side of it hasn't been gone into.
No.
Perhaps they come out and service a Massey Ferguson 135, and that's great, and we need that. At the same time as these machines are changing, you would hope that the college is up to date with that, and they're working together to maybe do that.
Yeah, I just don't think they are at all. I think that it's probably not their own fault either. I think it is just the fact now that you can't let people touch stuff. I learned my farming experience from my uncle and auntie at a very young age. We were amongst the cows.
Yeah.
We were behind the cows. We learned about breeding of animals. We learned the death side of it as well. You can't hide the death side of it. You've got livestock, you've got dead stock. And
that's life, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and I think that my era was probably the last era that was allowed to touch and do anything, whether it be at college or whether it be at home.
Yeah.
It was have a go. I remember my uncle going absolutely mental at me once because he sent me off with, I think it was a 135 and his header, and I was still school age, So and he's like, just be careful. And I turned on the headland and put the header straight through the barbed wire fence. Obviously, smashed the gearboxes up and things like that. But he wasn't absolutely, it's like he was cross at the time, but it's a learning curve, isn't it? And that's with everything. You've got to be able to learn.
Yeah, I think you have to sometimes make a mistake, don't you, to get it right. I think sometimes.
Yeah.
And in that environment with family and friends, you can make those mistakes, and sometimes not quite have to be.
No, that's exactly it. Because like a lot of children now, teenagers now, they have to go and work on farms that aren't necessarily anything to do with their family. So if they really cock it up, that's the farmer's livelihood. So there isn't that safe environment of many family farms left.
Yeah.
That they would be able to learn by their mistakes, and also with animal welfare, you've got to be on it. You have got to be on animal welfare because I don't have to tell you, that they are alive and they're your money, so you have to look after them at the best of your ability.
100%, yeah.
It's probably why we get, you sort of get bad press. Old farmers, they're not very nice to their animals. Well, actually, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
We have to look because they're money as well as livestock. If you look after something shit, it's worth nothing.
That's right. That's it. Well, yeah. Yeah, sort of in the money, and it's hard enough to make money in farming anyway.
Yeah.
Without then making the animals go through hell, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I pride myself on that over anything else, really. Our beef animals this year I've sold direct to butchers.
Wow.
Who've said like it's just amazing. They want more, and I can't.
Really?
Yeah. I can't produce as much as what I can sell now. So.
Mm-hmm. Could you? Is the future to grow that then? Do you think, or this is what we've got and we're quite happy with that, or are you going to conquer the world of butchery?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Oh, we're not big enough for that. I'd like to see animals still going through markets, and I think it's really important to keep all our markets going. We've still got a great one still in Hailsham.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
And I would hate for that to go. We're small enough that I can sell to, direct here, there, and everywhere. But I have put stuff through the market. All my sheep stuff goes through the market. So I think it is a bit of everything, but it's making British products affordable to British people because obviously we've got a lot of export.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And I think that probably needs looking at, but who's holding the strings on it? I think supermarkets. I think supermarkets are the dictating of milk, beef, lamb products.
I don't know why we haven't sort of had that conversation around, like, come on, we've asked you to stop British produce.
Yeah. I'd love there to be farming hubs. Okay, in the southeast here, there isn't so many farms anywhere else, but if we could have farming hubs where you sell your produce, I think the days of what are they called, where they have a little farm shops.
Yes.
Farm shops. Mm-hmm. The trouble with farm shops is, by the time you set up and stuff someone in them, there's so many overheads that it's a job to actually make any money. But if you go to a farm shop, the produce is generally a hell of a lot better than what you can buy. Yeah. I don't buy anything foreign, so me and my wife we don't buy any foreign products at all. Everything we eat is British.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've got to stand by what I believe. Yes, it costs us more money. Of course it does. But I think that's quite important. I know at the moment the last thing people want to do is spend more money than they have to with the cost of living, and it is a shame. It is a shame because I think generally British meat produced in the damp, warm environment that we've got here is much better than anywhere else.
I still think British people, they sort of have this tendency to not worry about something that's at their front door.
Yeah.
Without going into it, Crowborough, the migrant camp, that was like, wow, okay, we're going to sort this out. But before that, I don't know, people in Crowborough weren't too worried. To go off on a tangent here, but it's the same. People shopping, they can go into Lidl, whatever, and buy that. Oh, they look at the bill, don't they? It's not about where that's come from or how much cares the animal had to get to it. What's the process for that animal to get to where it's gone to?
Yeah, exactly. Don't they? Oh, I totally agree. And, because our standards in the UK is got to be met to be really high,
tip top. Yeah.
you know, it does make it a little bit more expensive. But would you rather eat a piece of beef or lamb or pork that has had a good life, a good welfare standard, versus something you don't really know where it's come from, to be honest? And it is really difficult, and I do sympathise. I'm sure there'll be people watching this going, oh, it's like that farmer, you know, saying about eating British, you know, we can't afford it. No, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
You can't, and that's where it's wrong.
Yes.
We should be able to eat our own produce.
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Thank you very much for watching the second episode of The Last Acre, and thank you even more so to Anton for being here, going through some bits with us. We've had a great time. It's been really, really good. Anton, thank you very much.
No, my pleasure.
Really
it's good to talk to you.
Yeah,
it was good fun.
Yeah. Obviously, wish you all the success with obviously the farming side, but also the BMXing side as well.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'll keep riding, but obviously I'll be farming a lot longer than BMX riding.
Perhaps we'll pop back and see the ramps in action, guys. You never know. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.